Hey guys! So this is my very first YouTube video. If you're watching this, you're probably like from my hometown, probably sitting there making fun of me, probably texting your friend about it. That's okay. Ha ha. But if you're not, my name's Courtney. I live in Northern Ontario in Canada, and I live with my fiance, Brian, and we have 2 cats and a dog, so you'll often probably hear them in the background or see them walking around. Probably hear barking. Yeah, nothing I can do about that. So today I'm just sitting on my living room floor because I'm still in holiday mode. I don't know about you guys. I'm on Christmas vacation from school, so I'm not ready to let it go. I'm a Christmas freak, so that tree's not coming down until the 2nd of January. And I'm working on a new little kind of recording space, beauty area. The one I have is just like, but that room's just not finished yet. So here we are. So as promised, my first video is about the Saalt Cup. I was kind of interested in trying a menstrual cup, and I noticed that in Canada, a lot of our options are like pretty minimal. Like there's the Diva cup, and then there's like a Tampax. Is that what it was? Yeah, I think it's Tampax brand one, and there's like nothing else. Like on Amazon, and there's like some really like off-brand ones that seem a little sketchy. And so I kind of looked into it, and I found out that like apparently a lot of these brands are just not being approved by the FDA in Canada, so that's why they're not sold in Canada. So like even if you go on Amazon, you can't get like any of the more popular brands. So in my research, I found that Saalt was like a really popular one. A lot of like Instagrammers and stuff, like lifestyle type YouTubers have been saying that this is a good one. And then there's another one called the Lena Cup. And there's another one I've seen called the Hello Cup that looks pretty cool too. So I found that probably the best way to order, because like you can order off of their like American websites and like probably have it shipped here, but on Urban Outfitters they sell, at least I know Saalt and the Hello Cup they sell, and then they ship to Canada. It's only like $10 usually to ship to Canada, which isn't bad, and they like list in a Canadian price, so you pay in a Canadian price. So I was gonna do that, and I just like messaged and reached out to Saalt and told them that I was like interested in trying a cup, and they actually sent me their like 2-pack, which is like amazing because I'm nobody. So as promised, that became my first YouTube video, and here we are. So it was like in the cutest little package. Comes in this little cardboard tin here. Can't find the front of it. Anyways, came in the little cardboard box. They sent me like a nice little note, which was sweet of them. And so inside it came with 2, like one of each of the 2 sizes. There's like a small and a large. And they came with like little pouches. They're pretty cute. So originally I tried this small the first time I tried it. So the large is like a blue color, and the small is like a pink one. I tried the small. Looks like this. It's like fuzzy. I wash it, obviously. So from like everything I'd heard, people would say that you had to, like when you inserted it, like the way that you would do it is you have to like fold the cup. So there's like all these different folds. Like the way that I do it is just like you fold it like this, and then you would like insert it. And so there's different like folds you can use, and also like on the Saalt, their website and their Instagram, they give you like tons of information. So if you're looking for information how to like insert it, like that kind of thing, they have tons of information. So from what I'd heard, like when you insert it, people would say that you had to turn it to form a suction, because you need it to suction or else it's just going to like leak or whatever. So people would say they would insert it, and then you'd have to do like 2 rotations to like make it form a suction. So I tried to do that. It sounded like getting it to turn, not that easy. But the first time I put it in, and then I like kind of immediately like tried to remove it just to see like what was going on and if there was like a suction. And like sure enough, it was suctioned already. Like I didn't have to do that. I mean, it might be different for everyone. And like the thing is, this cup, like these cups are like really popular. These might not work for you just because of like the shape of them. Like it's kind of a trial and error. And I think I got pretty lucky because it worked out pretty well for me. So I went to remove it the first time that when I first put it in, and it was like suction. So you like have to break the suction. So basically you got to like get a finger there and push down, and then like you'll hear like a pop, like the air popping kind of thing, and then you like pull it out. So that worked. I find like if you, so like say I do this and like I break the seal, and then I'm like trying to, and then I let go and I try to like pull it out, it's formed a suction again. That is not going to work. So I don't like, this is not actually for pulling it out, I feel, in my experience. Like people cut these off, you can kind of like feel this. I feel it, but it doesn't like bother me at all. So this is not for pulling it out, if that's what like probably what people think. But so I would have to like I would break the seal and I would just like pull down with this finger, because otherwise it would just form another suction like instantly when it popped back open. So it worked well for me from the get-go. I had like the first thing that happened, I was having like a lot of like muscle pain, like cramping pain that like I don't usually have. And I was like, like this is probably the cup. So, cause it's, it's new and I've never had this for like so long and so intense of muscle cramps. So I started like, so this went on for like 2 days. I was having these cramps and I was like literally at one point, I like took it out and I like put in a tampon and I was like, I gotta take a break. Like this hurts, It wasn't like not a pain, like a shooting pain or anything like that. It just was like my muscles were going crazy, which is like funny that such a little thing would affect it like that. All in all, worked out really well. I'll definitely just keep using this. It's a nice change to all that waste, and in the end, like it'll save you money. It's probably better for your body, honestly. I started like kind of Googling problems with the cup because I was wondering if I have it like positioned wrong. I do find like when you put it in, you're kind of like pointing it towards like the back of your body, because that's how like your vaginal canal aims, is like towards your back. And what I found was that some people think that you put it as high as like a tampon, because like for me anyways, with a tampon, like it needs to go pretty high or else you feel like the stiffness of the tampon is like hurting your like bone. It would like, I could feel it like pushing on my bones kind of. And so I mean, probably most women have the same experience, that you wear your tampons pretty high. And so what I was reading is that actually these go much lower, which made sense because I was having like not the best time trying to remove it because it's like really high and to like get a finger up there, right? So I was like, oh, okay. And I tried it and I put it like quite low, where like this was like kind of hanging out. And when you first put it in, it feels weird because there's something there. But this is like a much softer thing than a hard tampon, right? Like this bends, a tampon doesn't bend. So I kind of just gave it a minute, and it was way more comfortable, and like the cramping completely went away. So it was, and then it was easier to remove. It was so much better. So much better. So that is something I don't think I've seen when I was like reading the information on like Saalt's website and like their Instagram and stuff. I might have missed it, but I didn't see anything like that about like how you wear it much lower than a tampon. So worked for me anyways. And the other thing that I found really interesting is that I watched like some other YouTubers who make videos about these cups, like reviewing different ones, and people would say that like the amount of blood that you like actually have in your cup is like so small that it's like shocking, because like when you remove a tampon, there's like there's a lot of blood, and what looks like a lot turns out it is not a lot of blood in your tampon. It's just obviously like dispersed into the cotton, right? Because the amount in this thing is so small. They recommend changing these every 12 hours. So like you're wearing, you're doing it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, which is convenient because like you need a sink, right? So you can't be in like a washroom stall unless you maybe had like a bottle of water or something like that. And like I personally, every time I remove it, I use soap. So they sell like a cleanser. I didn't receive that. I just use normal like hand soap, like antibacterial hand soap, which may not be the best because it's scented, but it didn't seem to bother me. Also, like probably like I have like a soap that's like for your vagina, right? So it's like pH balanced and like like safe scent. So that would probably be a really good option. They do technically say you're supposed to sanitize this every time you change it. People don't, obviously, like as in like boiling it in hot water. That doesn't happen. So what I did is I used it for like my 3 or 4 days, and then I boiled it in hot water for like the next use or whatever. So yeah, I would wash it every 12 hours when I removed it, and like I said, you need to be like at a sink. So that's the only thing that's like a little less convenient. But if you're only changing it twice a day, you could like literally not change this for days. But like obviously that's disgusting. And when I kind of did some research about like people getting toxic shock with these, because they say, like I read something that said that it's more likely to have toxic shock with these than a tampon, which sounds a little crazy. That, as far as I've read, that's not the case. So apparently there's like literally like 2 cases of people getting toxic shock with a menstrual cup, and apparently in all cases they left them in for like probably about 5 to 7 days. So that blood is just forming bacteria. So that makes sense to me, right? And so it doesn't seem that chances are higher than with a tampon at all. Wash your cup, remove it. It's pretty simple. So, yeah, like I said, the amount of blood that you have in here is really small, which is like shocking. It's like you think, like you might like think you have a heavy flow at certain times. It's crazy how little blood there is in this thing. So yeah, anyways, this cup worked well for me, like the shape of it and everything like that. It might not work for everybody. So I tried the small, and I never ever did go to the large. With Saalt, it's kind of like their sizing. They say like the large is for a heavier flow, like days when you're gonna have a heavier flow, and or like someone that's given vaginal birth, and they have like guidelines on their website for the sizing. It's also on here. So for a normal to heavy flow with the large cup, a higher capacity, a higher cervix. I don't really know how I know this, but I feel like I have a low cervix. So that's probably why this worked well for me. I don't know if I'll ever even try this because this just felt right or whatever. It seemed to work well for me. Like I know like, so Saalt makes a cup that's like a softer fabric for people that have like a sensitivity. I might try that, because here's another thing. You do kind of, like, some people would say you'd feel it like pushing on your bladder, and then you'd feel like you have to pee. It's just like a little like uncomfortable or whatever, a little discomfort. I could like vaguely feel it, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like it, and then I found when I wore it lower, I felt it less. I felt it more when I had it up higher, when it wasn't where it should be, kind of thing. So this cup is kind of for that, someone that gets those muscle cramps from it, or they feel it in their bladder. I would consider trying that for sure. That sounds pretty interesting, but besides that, I don't have a desire to try like another brand. If the opportunity came up, definitely. Anyways, yeah, so I love it. I'm into it. Thanks a lot to Saalt for sending it to me. That's pretty awesome that you would do that. And see you guys in my next video.